What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I think for a second we need to sit here collectively and define the word emergency. Okay, so I think, in my humble opinion, an emergency is probably a catastrophic event, right? Something that halts the process of something. Okay, so maybe a weather event, maybe a tornado, a hurricane, a blizzard, that can be an emergency. Maybe a fire that destroys a postal facility, that could definitely be an emergency. Of course, a terrorist attack definitely is an emergency. Maybe 30 carriers calling out of work at a particular station can be considered an emergency, right? Because they have to fill the void. But is driving without a seatbelt an emergency? Can we put that on the same level that we put a hurricane or a tornado? Is not curving your wheels an emergency? Okay, can that be considered as catastrophic as a terrorist attack? Okay, is not locking your truck an emergency? Okay, is it an emergency? Okay, the reason I ask that is because carriers are being placed on emergency placement for vehicle safety issues. Okay, vehicle safety issues are being considered emergencies. Okay, and we have to think of that word emergency, right? Because the Postal Service has a loose definition of how they apply the word. All right, I was in a station one time and they maxed out carriers that were not on the overtime list. Okay, and then they maxed everyone out. They maxed every carrier out, and they claimed an emergency. Okay, and there was no emergency that we can see with our eyes, but in their definition, I think 4 carriers had called out, and they considered that an emergency. However, at that station, there was a very, very efficient shop steward. Okay, and I'm not gonna say any. He holds other hats in the union, and he was able to get every carrier that day paid extra. Okay, he grieved it, he won it successfully, and the process unfolded, and we were paid for that. So the reason I mention that to say is because if you are given an instruction by your supervisor, we have a duty to listen to that. Okay, now I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm not the type of person that takes orders too easily. That's why I didn't join the military. All right, I'm a free thinker, I'm an independent thinker, and I do not do things that will differ from how I move in life. Okay, if someone's gonna force me to do something, they're gonna force me to do it. Okay, because they're gonna threaten my job and my livelihood, so be it. But let me tell you, when it comes time to grieve it, that's what the union is here for, to grieve. Okay, if your union rep is being pushed back by the president to not grieve it, well, you know what, grieve it anyway. Okay, all it takes is one member to have a problem to make a grievance. Okay, there are remedies if they don't want to grieve your certain issue. We're not going to get into that, but the main point is, when management uses the verbiage or the language of emergency to place an emergency carrier on emergency placement, the only avenue that we have is that grievance procedure. Okay, so listen to them, follow their direction. Okay, even if you think they're wrong. Okay, because what you're gonna do is get them on the backside. Okay, if they pull you off the road for a safety issue, okay, you're gonna get your day's pay and all the time off that they forced you not to come to work while they figure out what's going on. Okay, so you got to think of the big picture here. Okay, carriers are being targeted. Okay, we are public enemy number 1 in this moment. Okay, and you got to understand, the Postal Service is having a real hard time generating income. Okay, so because the volume is going down and packages, UPS is taking back their packages, Amazon is sending us less, I don't know how many people are using our ground advantage, because quite frankly, when I used it, the package got lost. Okay, I worked for the Postal Service. I used the Postal Service, and the Postal Service let me down. Now that's to say a lot. Okay, so until we figure out those logistical issues, and gain the support of the American people, that we are going to be an efficient, practical shipping partner. We got to understand the Postal Service is having a hard time generating business. So the next best thing for them to save money, any cost saving measure, is going to be, their most important, most expensive piece of business, and that's the carrier. So this is a financial motive, okay? It is going to save the Postal Service money the less time that we are out here. And if they could find any technicality to get us off the street, they look at the bottom line. Now, what I'm telling you is they're going to get us off the street for the day if they can, but we're going to get the money back. Plus, whatever your union rep could do for you. That could be, I don't know. It could be time and a half for the time that you were off, So they're going to lose more in the long term, but in the short term, what they're going to do is blitz us. All right, guys, they're coming after stationary events. They're coming after vehicle safety. They've been inspecting carriers throughout the country. All right, guys. And they are coming off of office time, okay, and returning time, okay. They're going after us on every way possible. They're also coming after us for unauthorized overtime. These are things that are happening simultaneously throughout the nation. So if you don't fall into one category, you may fall into another. But the point is, they are all-out offense against the letter carrier. So what is that telling us? That is telling us that while we are in a divided state right now because of our contract negotiations and our not having faith in our union, management is striking us, okay? And it's an effective technique, okay? However, I preach, I speak, and I say on my channel, the day that this union becomes a strong union that supports each other, the day that this becomes a union that stands together in solidarity, these little technicalities will come to an end, right? Because what would happen is our national business agents will take these on a national level. But right now, because of the state of our union, okay, not only is the membership divided amongst each other, national is divided against local, but now management is using the opportunity to strike. Guys, there's never been a stronger moment in labor history movement than we are in today. Okay, this is the opportunity for us to stand with our brothers and our sisters, to lean support on other unions, and to show how strong the NALC can be. The next couple years, we're in for a fight, but let's not think that far. Let's take this thing on a day-to-day basis, because I was able to share in the talk when JH interviewed Mike Cariff, and I asked a simple question. I said, if management is meeting daily on these telecom conversations and they're coordinating nationally on ways to attack the city letter carrier, why is our union not doing the same thing? And Mike Cariff said, well, that falls on the national business agent. He says in his region, he does talks with his local presidents, and they try to stay on top of things. But I went even further, and I said there should be a talk from the national president to the business agent every single day. These managers and supervisors are on calls, and they have ample amount of time. See, your steward has a route. Your steward has limited time to work on your case. Whereas management, once we leave the office, they have the entire day to build cases against carriers. And that's unfair, and the responsibility to build a case, it falls on the steward, but it shouldn't. I mean, we should have our union, our higher ups in the union, having dedicated teams to come in and assist when stewards are overburdened. The union is working in a defensive manner rather than an offensive manner. We have millions of dollars to provide resources to our locals. That needs to happen. We need more specialized teams. We need the union to be a fighting union, an offensive union, and we need better communication throughout our branches and throughout the country. We need to coordinate offensive attack instead of being defensive all the time. That's all I got today. My time is up. Until next time, I'll be here. You'll be there. I'm looking forward to speak to you. Peace.